you what seems like yesterday or the day before. Yeah, must be the day before or something. But I have to talk to you again. This time is not like leisurely talk or diplomatic things or diplomatic wars. You were here for me, but I have to tell you everything. I mean, that is important to you right now, and I have to tell you all in truthfulness. Okay, first, Your Excellency, great President Trump. You know, I was so relieved to see that you won the election, because I know you are for peace, compassion, for humanity, for victims of the war. That's the reason why you have been kind of not very lenient to President Zelensky. But I have to dare myself to tell you that you cannot be too kind of lenient on Putin, because he is from the communists from childhood already, and he's a KGB by profession. These people, even though it's been a long time already since communism wore off or won out in Russia, whatever you've been trained in since you were a child or teenage or, you know, at a young age, you will not be able to wash it clean and clear. Don't believe me. Just look back at the history of everything that the communists have done to Russia and any other places that they could in the world. And just talking about Ukraine now, I know you know many things about the history of the world, and as president, it's very good for you to know all that so that you can use it in dealing with international affairs. I'm not telling you that I'm good at politics or anything. I just see things more clearly because I'm a third person, okay? So now, you, yourself, a great peace lover, and President Zelensky, he's also all for peace, even though maybe he was not initially of the same opinion as you. But I don't think anybody believes that he wants a war or to continue with war. He risks everything in this war because he doesn't want war. He has almost like no family meetings. And day and night he's risking his own life also and having much criticism. But I don't think this man ever wants war, especially in his own country where he himself also lost control of his own sovereignty for his country and from his country or of his country. So please, I know you are burning inside for peace because of your love for humanity. I know that because I have the same feeling. I don't want any innocents to die, especially young, handsome, pretty, soldiers in the front line, whether it is Russian or Ukrainians. I just don't like anyone to die so gruesomely, so brutally. I understand you. I truly, support you in every way. And many of your policies up to now, I read every day in the news, and I gave them to my news team to put on our TV. Because I want the people also to support you, to know that you're doing the right thing. Even my own team, one of them, or some of them, criticized me for putting on the news. One of them, you say that some criminals in certain degree, would be executed for their crime. Maybe especially the illegal immigrants. I agree with that, but some of my team members did not agree and told me we have to erase that death sentence because we, the Supreme Master CHINGHAI International Association, are against the death penalty. Of course I'm against that. But then I have to defend your decision, so I told them. It's even in writing. It's not like I'm making up the story here. It was maybe some weeks ago or some days ago. Some other times also for other topics, but not all are recorded. For me, time now is going so fast I can't remember much of when. But we can print it back so you can look at how I responded to that decision, even though it's against my principle. But I told them that. I think I don't remember word for word, but we can reprint it my response for you or for others to read. I said to them that President Trump doesn't really want to kill.
Master's reply regarding President Trump's capital punishment order. Better keep it to scare, stop worse criminals who harm, murder others than spend your tax to feed and keep them in prison, lawyer, court cases, etc. It's not our law. We are just reporters informing the public so that they know and prevent, hopefully. USA already has death penalty. Trump only uses it to bring back the right to live in safety for Americans and to help people to stop crime, which will kill themselves and other victims of a loose, lawless society. No time to write too long explanation, often just yes or no, trusting you understand.
I think I wrote this in short. I say he just wants to scare people into not doing it, not to commit a crime. And he wants to warn people not to go into that direction. Yeah, this is good. Preventing is always better than curing. But I am 100% for no death penalty. The real reason is that because you might have some judge or lawyer or witnesses give wrong statements or wrong judgments, and we can't give that wrongly accused person his life back. As you see, many people in America have been wrongly accused and have to be in prison for many decades until he got out by some of the non-governmental legal groups that specialize in trying to help wrongly accused people. And especially if he's a black person, a person of color, then it's more easy for him to be wrongly accused. That's why England, they completely abolished the death penalty. Well, it has pros and cons, of course. So that's how it is. I defend you when needed. I defend you behind your back even. So I hope that whatever I'm telling you now will not make you think that I want to offend you. But I have to. Dear President, I really love you. I also said openly that I wanted you to be in the system longer than just 4 years, because you can help America. And whatever happens to America will affect the whole world. As soon as you came up as a peace-loving president, many things changed for the better. All the international people have more respect for America, for your decisions, for your government. And I'm so happy to see that you have selected many of the good officials in your government to help you. And they are 100% behind you. And I'm so happy, even though I am not in America and I'm only an honorary, even multiple honorary citizen of America. But I consider myself also American for that. Because I used to be American also. Of course, this I cannot prove to anybody except all the psychics, they know about that. My heart is with America, with the United States of America. Because I know what happens there will help the world a big deal. If they have a good leader, like you are, for example. Now, we go back to the main theme. You, Your Excellency, have a role with President Zelensky because of different opinions or different understandings. I know your point because you really just want peace, but it can't be at any cost. Because if you look back at the history of all the communism in Russia only, no, I'm not talking about other countries yet, and you can see how many millions of people died of all kinds of punishment. It was just simple. Peace-loving citizens, they have not been acquainted with communism, but the governments at those times punished them with death, starvation, pain, physical abuse of all kinds. then you cannot really trust a born communist.
The year 1933. The place, the Soviet Union. Behind the facade, food is being used as a weapon against peoples who have proven troublesome to Moscow. Famine is engineered deliberately in the North Caucasus, the Volga Basin, and Ukraine. The Soviet secret police seal off Ukraine's borders. No one can get out or bring food in. A nation the size of France is strangled by hunger. In less than 2 years, 10 million people die. 7 million of them in Ukraine. 3 million of them children. By 1928, Stalin is a law unto himself. This efficient, ruthless administrator has eliminated all effective opposition within the Politburo. The dream of a worldwide communist revolution has not materialized. As Stalin strengthens communism within the borders of the USSR, Russian nationalism is increasingly injected into his policies. The strong cultural individuality of Ukraine is no longer tolerated. 1929. Stalin strikes at the nation's heart and mind, its church and intelligentsia. Over the next few years, the systematic liquidation of intellectuals is carried out by the communist regime in Ukraine. 5,000 scholars, scientists, poets, and artists prominent during Ukraine's independence are arrested for allegedly belonging to the SVU, a secret organization the Soviets claim is planning an armed insurrection. Only 45 get a public trial. No evidence is considered necessary. Thousands upon thousands are imprisoned, deported, and executed later as mass arrests continue throughout the 30s. Even the church is accused of involvement in this alleged plot.
Many priests were arrested, many were sent to Siberian concentration camps, many shot. My father was one of them. He never came back. I know this from personal experience. 30 bishops were murdered. Thousands of priests were perished. 100,000 of faithful were liquidated.
I'm so sorry if I have offended any other communist country. I don't mean it that way. I'm also burning inside for the peace of Ukraine and Russia. Hundreds of thousands die already. How many more do we want them to die before they even enjoy their life? You know, young people, children who lost their parents, lost their life, being crippled in the war for no fault of their own. Don't tell me about karma and all that stuff. You know nothing about karma anyway. So you can't tell me, oh, no, this is because of karma. Even if I know it's karma, my heart still hurts. And then nobody, no medicine can cure that unless I see peace. And President Trump is the only one who would have the most hope for us to make peace in Ukraine, in Russia, and the world. So please support him, by the way. So President Trump, we have to continue this effort to make peace. I know you're not against President Zelensky anyway, even if he makes some comments not to your liking, not good opinions to your liking, his process. But you must know, you cannot lean towards Russia and abandon Europe through Ukraine. I don't want to offend anybody because I know it's not safe for me. I'm alone. I'm only, a weak and fragile woman. What for I'm doing this? But I can't just blink my eyes, turn away, or just pretend that nothing happened. Because every day I have to search the news for my TV for our association's TV, Supreme Master TV. Nothing is really mine. We do it as a group effort, a team, support, team oneness. And I'm grateful to Noel, to God Almighty. I'm such a lucky person. I have so much support and in oneness from my association members. Because when I gave them initiation, this is something that's not in physical terms you can even describe. It only goes from spirit to spirit. And by God's grace, by God's permission, God gave me this title, that title, just to let my so-called God's disciples know who I am, so they can trust me. It's not that I care about all that. It just gives me more trouble in the world when people, doubt you and don't think much of you, and you have such a big title, for example. And I have to even announce it openly to the world because God ordered me to do that. What for do I need all these titles? Nobody gives me anything. I take nothing from anyone. Just like you became president, but you never took a salary for that position. I take nothing. President Trump, I take nothing. At least this we have something in common. I earn my own living, yes, and I live very, very frugally. In fact, I live like in a refugee camp right now, A very simple life, a few pair of clothes, simple food. I don't have a good room even, not even just a one-room studio with hot running water. So please know that I'm sincere. I'm with you in this peace wanting aspect. I have nothing against you. I'm 100% with you, for you. Even after you did not get the job back 4 years ago. At that time, I was also devastated because I knew war would break out. Many bad things would come out. I knew that. And I was so very, very, very sad, very miserable because they made you lose the election.
Master, now that President Trump has accepted Biden's win, what does Master think about that?
What do I think? I'm scared. I'm scared for your country and for the world. Getting downward, I hope it doesn't go down too fast. This kind of leadership, how can you lead the country, especially America, supposed to be the leading country of the world, and have this kind of leadership? I'm not sorry to say it. I'm sorry for your country. For America. What do I think? That's what I think. I think it's already outright not fair, okay?
Yes.
But you did win. I know that. All heavens and earth knew that you won. Okay, never mind about that. I'm just wanting to remind you that the Russian people are good, very kind, very beautiful people. I've been there, I know. It's just that the leaders, the governments, are not always as expected, like caring for their own citizens and truly doing all they can for peace. But I'm not blaming Putin alone. It's all the bad energy that we created in this world as humans. All this killing, all this abortion, and all this slaughtering, murdering innocent animal people who done nothing wrong to us. All this great bad energy, and push it into a big kind of, just like a bomb, waiting to explode. So Putin is just an instrument for this energy. But nevertheless, because we as humans, we are infected by the society, by the education that we receive as a kid, by the treatment by neighbors or our own parents, or our friends, so-called friends, our siblings, whatever circumstances we are born into, that affected us a lot. So we have mind, we have brain also, and we have heart, and we follow whatever we have been taught. We have been influenced by. So even if President Putin is a good person, he cannot always overcome all this influence from the communist brutal kind of treatment to whoever doesn't agree with them. As you can see, look back how many millions of people died for nothing, for no fault of their own, in such a brutal way that a human cannot treat another human like that. And look at Hitler, just one person killed so many millions of innocent people. And sometimes not because they want it, but because they have been influenced by their nearby friends or nearby subordinates, working government subordinates. And sometimes from personal kind of vengeance, it becomes national and then it becomes international. Many of the wars started from personal vengeance kind of feeling, and it became bigger and bigger and bigger. Personal passion is more strong. It's much stronger than any weapon. It just pushes, drives people to insanity, to madness, and they can't control it. Personal, hatred and personal jealousy cause a lot of upheaval in the world. You know all that. So now you cannot just abandon Europe through Ukraine. You cannot just support Mr. Putin, even though you admire him, perhaps, even though you sympathize with him. I also have one sympathy for Putin, even though I don't know much about politics in the world, because he has also been through a lot of humiliation. Before, he was a better boy. He did everything he could and had many wins for Russia, even in sport or in international kind of Olympics. He fought with all his might by his personal strength, and he always appeared himself in personal meetings with the International Olympic Council, for example, and then won for Russia the Olympic Games in his own country. One time, I remember that. I think it was in Sochi, yes. So he was very passionate about his country. But he has been criticized a lot by other leaders in the world. Every time before I read some news, the president this, president that, always, whenever meeting him, always belittle him, criticize him, slander him to his face, and it's all over on the internet or in the newspapers. And he didn't do much about that. But over the years, it might have bottled up into something. And it might have been one small little motivation, one small little push also to make the war in Ukraine. I'm not defending him, okay? I don't like this war. From the beginning to now, I always supported Ukraine. And we don't even air anything about Russia anymore on our Supreme Master television ever since the war began. I'm just telling you all this so that you know my true intention and my real support for peace. And I don't have a lot of money like you have, but I give as much as I can afford to Ukraine through my own money and through my disciples also. And we even supported opening a vegan restaurant in Ukraine also so that we can help from there other people, other soldiers and war victim people. We continue doing that in our very humble, small way. And because of all these humane supports, and of course more other spies were after me, still are, I'm not in safety. Less safe even than before. Became almost like a homeless. Even at the place I used to live, trees were chopped down without warning and for no reason. I mean, in front of my people who are living there, even started burning the forest where I lived. So I'm not for Putin at all, in case any of the European leaders think that way. No. 100% no, more than 1,000% no. I don't support war, no matter who made it. And whoever makes war, he, she is my enemy. The enemy of the people. Yes. Because they have the heart to kill innocent. And affect the whole world with it. With food problems, with transportation problems, and with peace problems. Life is so hard for a lot of people already. Now, why make war? So that people can't sleep, can't eat well, can't do their job, and have to mourn their own loved ones. And all these beautiful, handsome young Russians, for example, young, beautiful men and women of Ukraine have to die for what? Even if you are successful in taking the whole country, what will you have when you go down in your tomb, huh? If you even could go there, or you'll be exploded into pieces before you even know where your soul's gone. I'm all for peace, okay? So, President Trump, forgive me if I offended you in any way. I'm 100% for you. It's just, peace is a very big karmic kind of burden. Anyone who wants to handle peace must handle really with care, like with raw eggs. I really want peace. I'm with you. And I know why you have been not, at the end, not too friendly with President Zelensky, because you were so burning inside. You want peace yesterday already. But everybody has different opinions in their own problem and their own situation to deal with. So please understand President Zelensky and forgive him even if you think he's completely wrong. But he also has his own problem, his own opinion. You know that. And we just have to make peace. Even if anyone is so hungry for peace, so desperate for peace, so painful inside for the victims of the war, and really want to push for peace in any way possible, still we cannot sacrifice friendship and the harmony of the international community, meaning other countries around America, because that will cause another war then. And that will defeat your purpose. President, please, I know you have many good advisors, and I am just nowhere. Yes, but please, I have the right to also express my opinion. And I have the right also to, I have the right of wanting to help you, to have America, have the world. Also, physically, President Zelensky, he's exhausted from 3 years of war as the head of the state in a war. So he might not have been able to sleep a couple of nights before, or had many headaches from the front line, or from his dying shoulders, or from some setback in his strategy to fight. And he went all the way from Europe to America. That is a long way, and he might not have been able to sleep well in the airplane. Noise and a lot of questioning, a lot of worrying in his head. So he might have busted out against his own will. Imagine if you are in his position, then you will know how it is like, and please forgive. Please make peace with Ukraine, because Ukraine is now represented by President Zelensky. And I'm sure you already have had second thoughts about excluding Europe and Ukraine out of your concern. I know you won't do it in some days, but somehow, eventually, because you are a man of peace, you can't just let people die. Peace is more important than personal opinions and arguments. I'm sure President Zelensky would also have realized it by now. So you two men, both are passionate about your own ideals. Even though Ukraine is a small country compared to America and not as rich, as powerful, but it is a country with millions of people living in it. And normally they were peaceful folk. They just do farming. Farming is the work that God recommended to us, humankind. But many don't do it. Nowadays, especially, many fields are left empty, untended, because of different reasons. Because of climate change, because high tech, and because of better job in the city, for example, like that. But Ukraine will still continue to do their farming diligently, faithfully, and is exporting farming products. I think it's the 4th or the 5th in the world. Imagine, such a small country. So many countries really rely on Ukrainian farmers and the way they're doing their daily lives for farming products to survive. So please, for all of these people, President Trump, just concentrate on your goal, okay? And be patient. Explain it to President Zelensky what you wanted him to understand. You know that many people sometimes do things or they tell you what they think, but you don't understand them also because you think it's not logical or it might be a trick. President Zelensky, even though he respects you, respects Americans, he might find it difficult to believe, to trust anyone anymore after Russia betrayed him. You see what I'm saying, sir? I think maybe you have known all this, but because you're too busy to give more consideration, deep thinking into all these things that I'm saying, I'm just here to remind you. And in case you think my opinion is not to your taste, please forgive me then, but please consider it for peace's sake, for the sake of all humans that depend on the peace in Ukraine to live on, to take care of their family, their children. Please consider my talk. Just consider my talk. It's just as a woman who is also passionate about peace and supporting your passion of peace. Now, President Zelensky, I understand all your situation as the leader in a war-torn country and continuous war. And you must have been losing weight and losing peace in your mental capacity and many other things just kind of tearing you apart. Millions of your countrymen had to run away from home and you're losing more and more soldiers, maybe less than Russia. But still you're losing, and that does hurt you a lot. And that makes it so sometimes you cannot find peace, cannot find your usual intelligence because of pain. All those war-related pain for you as head of state, they also affect your physical and or mental wellness, your peace of mind. But please, you have to work with President Trump. You have to trust him. Because I trust him, if that means anything to you. Because the majority of his citizens trust him. And that is a rare miracle, you know? Not all of the presidents in the world are trusted by their own citizens and by the majority even. It would be 50-50 if any of them are lucky. So please work with President Trump, even if you feel you are humiliated. What's the problem with our pride anyway? We lose nothing if we lose our pride also for the good of others, for the good of your country. Even that, pride is nothing. We came with no pride. We die with no pride. It's just an illusion, one of the illusions in this world. Please, you have to be humble. It's difficult. It's difficult even for a president in war to be humble. But you have to, President, you have to, for the sake of your country, even for the sake of all the dying Russians in your land. Compassion has to rule more than pride. Then you have to have peace, come back to your family, live a normal father and children life, husband and wife life. You can't continue like this forever. And you know President Trump, he has just been elected again and he has 10,001 things to do also. So he might have lost his patience as well. Patience is not easy to keep in this world because with so many things that push us to no end, we sometimes can't keep ourselves together in one piece. Even for a man or a woman having a family, have a family problem, they also lose their patience more often than they like. But because they love each other, they come back together and make ends meet, piece things together and have peace and have a family in peace again. So not to talk about you as a president of a warring country, daily knowing how much bad news, daily knowing how many people die on both sides. I know even Russians are supposed to be your enemy, but you feel also not good when they die or wounded and crippled in any way, because they're also human. They look like your citizens as well. I don't know how President Putin feels about his young citizens dying every day on the battlefield, in a foreign land even. But I know you have heart. I know you feel sorry. You feel sympathy for them as well when their family loses a son, or when the family has to bring back and nurse a wounded son, a wounded daughter, or a handicapped war veteran coming back to their family. Because you know, if it's you, you would feel devastated. You would feel like dying. So please, sell your pride to the wind. Humble yourself. Go make a deal with President Trump. President Trump, he also has his own responsibility and issues to take care of. America cannot continue to supply weapons, money forever to any country, even if they love it. Even if they love and support that country, they cannot do it forever. The Americans' tax money has to be spent on the Americans' welfare. And you know, President Trump is all for his own citizens. So if he makes any deal, it has to be fair for both, you know? Even the richest person in the world cannot continue to help the poor people all the time and always. Their money will run out. Their business will be ruined. So President Trump, he's a fair person. He does what's good for Americans, but he also considers other countries. If he has to use strong measures, it's because he knows that will wake up other leaders to work with him for the sake of all in this world. He's not a mean man. He just uses any possible way when he thinks it works. And then he will slow down. And then he will go back to the normal things that you expected. It's like sometimes he put a big tariff on many countries so that they have to do things fairly, logically. And then he will reduce the tariff. He did in some way already, with some countries already.
The president sees tariffs as an effective negotiating tool. He claims other countries have been unfair to the U.S. and that his approach will fix America's trade deficit.
Trump had pledged the measure to boost local manufacturing in the U.S. and to pressure its neighbors to do more to stop the flow of migrants and illicit drugs into the country.
They've allowed millions and millions of people to come into our country that shouldn't be here. They could have stopped them, and they didn't. And they've killed 300,000 people last year, my opinion, have been destroyed by drugs, by fentanyl. The fentanyl coming through Canada is massive. The fentanyl coming through Mexico is massive.
President Donald Trump is temporarily pausing tariffs on steel and aluminum imports from Mexico and Canada, giving the countries more time to negotiate key issues around border security and even trade.
The president has been engaged in a lot of talks with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. The president yesterday talking about his conversation with Sheinbaum, saying that he had a good, productive conversation with the Mexican president and says he does see tangible evidence regarding Mexico's actions to stop the illegal flow of fentanyl. He says he has seen some evidence that the flow of fentanyl has been declining.
President Donald Trump says, quote, after speaking with President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico, I have agreed that Mexico will not be required to pay tariffs on anything that falls under the USMCA agreement. This agreement is until April 2nd. I did this as an accommodation and out of respect for President Sheinbaum. Our relationship has been a very good one, and we are working hard together on the border, both in terms of stopping illegal aliens from entering the U.S. and likewise stopping fentanyl. Thank you to President Sheinbaum for your hard work and cooperation, end quote.
Yes, So he is not a mean person. Please do not look at him from the outside actions that he has to take to save his people. America has become almost exhausted in different aspects of their country. So he has to return stability and wellness to his citizens because that's what he vowed to do. So please, it's not only you in war that have problems with your country and Russia. President Trump, even in peace, also has a lot of problems to take care of because everybody looks up to America for help, for war settlement, for handling international crisis, and for peace. So please, you have to trust President Trump. Without America, your country will be gone. And do not rely on Europe's help either, because they also been at war not long ago, and now they also have to recover. And then they have so many millions of immigrants, legal and illegal, who came to their country and also eating up their wealth and their citizens' taxes and making their country also harder to get by. Now, you can see very well that when the war first began in your country, Europe just ignored you. You fought all alone. And I even had to come to my TV screen and explain it to them that Russia wanted to even invade whole of Europe. By the way, they maneuvered their strategy, the war strategy, in the beginning of the war. They took over, occupied many areas alongside the European border with Ukraine. What did they do that for, huh? NATO, you can't even trust them. NATO refused Ukraine, EU refused Ukraine, America crossed their arms in front of their chest, watching on. So Ukraine is left alone to fend for themselves or to die alone. Talking about good neighbors. Love thy neighbors and all that.
Yes.
They make an excuse saying that if they order no-fly zone, that means they could maybe trigger the nuclear war in Europe.
Yes.
But just maybe, because Russia will be also afraid of NATO and the world and many countries that have nuclear.
Yeah. Right, that's true.
And even maybe more than Russia has.
Yes.
If all the countries put together.
Yes.
Because Russia is the one, and they have many nuclear in many other countries, including India, even.
Yes.
So first they refuse Ukraine because they say Russia will make an excuse to war with Ukraine, and Russia already did. And they still don't accept Ukraine, and now they make an excuse that it might trigger a nuclear war. So they refuse Ukraine again. Probably they wait until nuclear comes.
Yes.
And at that time, it might be too late to react.
Yes.
Maybe they'll be dead already. Because you can see Russia he does things using elements of surprise.
Yes.
Up to now, he didn't tell anybody that he's going to make war with Ukraine, even though he already built up an army force next to the border.
Yes.
And meanwhile, keep saying, no, we don't talk about that. Even he told his vice chief, no, we don't talk about conflict with Ukraine, something like that. And he didn't tell anyone else. He didn't tell his people even. Even the army did not know until maybe last minute. Help Ukraine to eliminate this war in any way you can. In the beginning, all the way up to deeper into the war, the Kremlin occupied all this border from Crimea because they took Crimea and they used that as a base, as a stepping stone, and went more deep into Ukraine's different regions along the border of Russia. And they want to stretch it all the way to Belarus and then past Belarus and then all the way to cover all the border with Europe. You can see that. I don't have to be a war strategist to see it. I saw it on the map. And you see the brave Ukrainian soldiers and people are already taking back more than half of what Russia has occupied. Well, we thank God for that. And we are in debt to them. Because if they take all the border all the way to Belarus and continue, then they will have bases everywhere around the European border. And they will attack any European country anytime, easily, if they have bases already. And are prepared and equipped everywhere they want. Just they would attack one country after another in Europe. Because they want to control all of Europe and the world as well. With the backing of their so-called allies. And you know what I mean now. And Europe is still sleeping. First, because they have such good, favorable supply of gas, cheap and all that, and all kinds of things for their household, or their development, for invention, all kinds of things. They also depend on each other. So for Europe to cut away the relationship with Russia, it was also truly a historic kind of action that they decided that way in order to show at least support to you in spirit. This is very, very, very admirable of them already, because that would cost them a lot also. And they were struggling to try to find a replacement for all the fuel that they used to depend on Russia to have. So in this world, talking about all this, we can see well that we all depend on each other to live. And one thing I have to tell you honestly, without America's support, without President Trump, you will never, never, never have peace in your country. You might even lose your country. Because Europe wasn't ready for war. It was very difficult for them to give any weapons to you. You know it yourself. A lot of arguments between parties, between people, a lot of consideration, all kinds of things before they give you something. And not a lot. And not as powerful as Americans who pour in weapons and money to help your country in any way possible. Even their own citizens came to fight with you. But Europe, did you see anybody come and fight with you? Even voluntarily? Maybe some, but few. I myself didn't read it on the internet. I read about some Americans who came to your country voluntarily to fight with you, with your people, and being wounded, being handicapped because of the war, or being gone, lost their life. And Americans can't keep doing this. Even President Trump wants to continue to help you with all financial support and weaponry support, but he can't do that because he has to answer to his country. Why would he spend all their tax money on the nation that they don't even have anything to do with, far away in European continent, And not much help to America either, yeah? So whatever they have done for you is tremendously generous already, but they're exhausting their own power and financial stability. So you must know, right now, President Trump cannot sign anything that gives everything to you and nothing to help America. He can't answer that to his country people. So you have to cooperate with him. There must be give and take. And would you rather be left alone without American weapons and finance and support on a permanent basis? And you want to do a deal with Europe? Oh, please. I don't know if Europeans have enough equipment, manpower, and expertise to do business with your country. And whatever that mineral deal is, I don't think they can fulfill it. Well, at least not after a long time. And by that time, your country might be gone already. I was surprised that during the first period of the war, NATO didn't help you. They didn't want to do anything for you. And even shrink your defense to limit it. They didn't give you a no-fly zone even. And meanwhile, Russia was eating up your border with all the European countries. And it has to take me, a little countryside woman, who is not in the political arena, to point it out to them at their own risk. So do not rely all on Europe. They have goodwill, they mean well, but I don't know if they have enough power and equipment to help you in the long term without also exhausting themselves physically, financially, in any way, okay? The European people, the majority of European countries, they're peace-loving countries also. They are not born for war, except some World War I. World War II started by one or two countries, crazy people. But most European countries, including their leaders, even if they are bad, they don't want war. Nobody wanted to make war. So they are not in the mentality to fight to death with you, like your citizens right now, or since the beginning of the war. They don't have such interest to put all they have in war. And without that fighting mentality, like what your country has right now, they can't win. They can't win. And you'll be left alone. And then your country will be gone. And that will be the most sorrowful, painful thing for you to live with until the day you die. After 3 years of war, how much suffering already. And now Europe wants to show their strength and to show that they are your friends, better than the Americans. How long can they support you? So think about that. Also, you can't blame them, as the Europeans just took a breath from a war, rebuilding their lands and enjoying their prosperity in peace. It is not fair for them to sacrifice their lives, to be forced into war, just because someone else wanted it. One man's pride is nothing compared to the whole country's wellness and world peace. So please, reconsider. Make friends with President Trump. Make him know your sincerity and do sign the contract that you initially agreed to. Do not turn away from that contract of that peace deal. Okay? If you continue to work with the Americans, and Americans have interest in and business with your country, that means Russia will more likely leave your country alone. They wouldn't dare to make war with America. Please consider that. It's my humble opinion, but it's logical. Please consider. Please forget yourself. Even if you are a president and you're a hero of the country, and I even offer you the Shining World Award for bravery because I admire your courage and your passion to protect your country. But even then, we are nothing, President Zelensky, we are nothing. We're born with nothing, we'll die with nothing. We just have to live for others. Doesn't matter how much trouble, how much damage is done to our pride, okay? Or could be our ego even. The bigger a position we have, the more humble we should be, especially in times of need, when we must forget our pride to serve others, to save the lives of those who are dear and precious to us. So please, be a great man. Control the pride, control the ego, just think of your country and peace in the world. Please, please, for all the children, for all the weak, innocent, fragile women in your country and in Russia. Please, be better than your enemy. Be something great that your children will admire, that your countrymen will be grateful for, and be a good son of God, good child of God. God never wants any war. So you are a child of God, one of the children of God. Please make peace. And one thing, I beg both of you and all of you, the leaders in the world, please immediately install a system for veganism. Destroy all the slaughterhouses in the world where all killing war is going on every second of peace life in this world. every little butcher knife falling down on any animal people, that is a knife to chop away peace in this world. It might not be immediately, but it will build up and make war again. So please, Your Excellency, great President Trump, Your Excellency, brave President Zelensky of Ureign, I call your country, please make peace with each other in the world and make peace with the animal people. They are, many animal people, are saintly beings. They're practicing yogis, bringing peace and love into this world. You can see all that from all the documents about animal people, how they help each other, even different species, how they rescue humans in dangerous situations, forgetting their own lives. Many of their examples, it should be a shame for humans to look and cannot even copy. Be great men. Be greater than a great president. Be a hero for all, not just for your citizens, not only for your fellow world people, but for other species as well, for animal people as well, and for the forest as well. Protect the world citizens, protect the animal citizens, protect the forest citizens who give nothing but goodness to us. And now for President Putin, please make peace or you will go to hell and no chance ever to get out. I mean it. You know, I don't lie. In several hells, you will endure tremendous suffering. Dying but never can die. Being burned alive, non-stop, including war hell, where you will be chased, stabbed, shot, for example, relentlessly, without any way to escape it, even for 1 second. So please think about all this. No personal pride, not even about just one country's interest. Do it all for the world's sake. And you live in this world, not just for other people, you see? And thank you very much. If you ever listen to my talk, I beg God to protect you, your countries, and your personal good, your loved ones, your interests. May all be well for all of you, the leaders of the world, especially American President Trump and President Zelensky of Ureign, and even for Putin to change, to turn around, to be leader of peace. And all of you are the leaders in the world to support peace in any way you can. Amen. President Zelensky, Your Excellency, with all due respect for the European leaders and you and your country, I have to say that again, don't rely only on European allies to support you, because they will be also exhausted one day. They also don't have such a, I told you already, they don't have such a passion to fight, because they have been used to peace for a long time now. Their countries are good. They have enough, sufficient financial support and food and everything for themselves. But if they have to be involved in war, all that will be gradually or even abruptly ended. Even to make weapons, that can't be forever. Sort of material is one thing, and manpower too. They don't have the heart to want to plunge themselves into war. You could see that in the beginning already. Isn't that funny to you? That Russia had posted 200,000 soldiers at your border already. And even America warned you at the last moment that Putin will make war in your country in 24 hours. And nobody did anything, including your own. You didn't bring the soldiers at the border to prevent them from coming in. It seemed like a surprise to everybody. But the surprise lasted for 2 months. That is too much. I don't know where you were. Where were your people? Where were your soldiers? Huh? They already ate up Crimea, not like they didn't do anything. They already chewed away, at Donetsk, for example. And they are standing next to your border, 200,000 strong with equipment and everything. And your country, your leader, your, army did nothing to stop it. At least you show it. Maybe you couldn't win because you're weak or something, but at least you show that you don't want it, that you're ready to fight. No, nobody at the border. And even in Snake Island, just maybe a handful of soldiers there, left alone there. And this is the border point as well, a strategic point. You didn't even do anything. You left them alone there, so the Russians came and just captured them all, even though they had such an admirable spirit. They did not beg the Russian or anything. They even swear to reply to the Russians who told them to surrender. They didn't surrender. They even replied to them with all courage and dignity.
Все. Нахуй тоже надо.
На всякий случай.
Huh? Nobody was there to help them. Just a handful of soldiers in a small remote island, which is very important to the security of Ukraine. Well, maybe I don't know much. Tell me. You write to me, tell me that I'm wrong. I didn't know much about your country. I just have to look at the map and say everything from the strategic point of view. And that's one thing. That's the first thing. And the second thing, when the tanks of the Russians were already in your land, on the highway, queuing up for miles long already, stuck there because one of the front tanks was kaput, having a problem and could not continue. So the whole queue of tanks stood together on the highway, open for everybody to see. The reporter somewhere took those photographs and videos. But what did you do? Nothing. Huh? You could have done something there when they were stuck in that kind of stagnant position. Wasn't it easier to eliminate them or at least to fight or to do something? No, nothing. They just stood there. And later somebody reported maybe some of the Russian drivers of the tanks in the front didn't want the war, didn't want to go further, so they made their tanks kaput, made their tanks not run anymore. And I think it's correct, because not all Russians are having the heart to kill. Russian people are humans just like you, like your country's citizens. They're just driven, forced to fight. Otherwise they would die, and their family will be punished also. That's why they probably thought of how to stop the war.
This was the moment Pavel Filatov cut ties with Russia, tearing up his military ID and Russian passport, flushing them down a toilet in an airport bathroom in Paris. A few weeks later, this former paratrooper met with us to tell his story and share his disgust with the military he's risking everything to expose.
I kept thinking obsessively that literally, if I survived, I would do everything to stop it, to change something.
Filatov was part of a military regiment that invaded Kherson, Ukraine in the early hours of February 24th. But even just a day before the equipment rolled in, he said soldiers were being misled about why they were there.
Our regiment commander made us line up and said, "Stop spreading gossip. Stop calling home talking nonsense. I'm telling you, there are 3 more days of training and then you'll all be home."
He said he only realized Russia was attacking Ukraine after an order came down for his unit to destroy a bridge. In a manifesto he later posted to social media, he described the disarray on the battlefield, a Russian military equipped with patriotism instead of good training, support, and modern technology. He wrote some soldiers began to shoot themselves to get the government money and get out of this hell.
But I say this, Russia has now been captured by some kind of mafia.
We were not told anything but march forward. The commander just told, "You are going there." We were going in a column. When we started to cross the border, I asked the commander, "Why are we doing this?" He answered me to shut up. I didn't know that I was going to Ukraine. They deceived me. We were told that we would go there and come back. They told us that we will go into the fields, set up tents and live there. We didn't ride deep into Ukraine when we were hit. My car blew up and I was pushed out of it with the explosion wave. We became captives in the town. We didn't shoot back. We became captives in the town. We didn't shoot back. We laid our weapons at once. We were deceived and sent to war like cannon fodder. I didn't think that I will have to kill someone. I knew nothing. I was afraid. We are being sent to war like cannon fodder. Everyone gets shot at once. We were going in a column and almost everyone in it dies. I didn't want to fight. I wanted to live. I will say that Ukrainian military are nice guys. They did not hit me and gave me food. For what? Everywhere here live peaceful people and no one wants war. No one attacked Russia and I don't understand what they want from this war, etc.
But your country's army, you yourself as leader, was doing nothing. Even if you lose, symbolically fight or make a negotiation or something, or else, nothing. So at some point, some areas, the ordinary Ukrainian citizens with empty hands went to the street and told the Russian soldiers to go home. And the whole Europe was silent, that you could drop a pin and hear it. So now you're going to rely on Europe and forsake America? You can afford that? Even all this time, 3 years long, if America wasn't there, you already be gone, President. Even though you're brave, you're courageous, and you love your country, your family, your people, you be gone already. If in one piece, then you're lucky. For 3 years long, you have become a great hero. Your people love and obey each and every of your commands with so much respect. But don't get used to this mighty position and power and make it a habit to expect all you meet to treat you the same way. President Trump is not one of your subordinates. He is the commander-in-chief of the most powerful nation on earth. Remember that when you have the chance to see him again. As for now, your country needs him. You need him. So please, forsake your pride. Forsake your leader type in war that you're used to for 3 years. Think logically. Check all the facts before you omit President Trump's suggestion from your peacemaking list. You must work with him. You must. M-U-S-T. You must work with President Trump. He's the one you can trust. Well, at least compared to Putin. It's not my country. You are not my president. Your people are not my relatives, friends, nothing. But I cannot help but feel pain, as if their pain is my pain. That's why I'm defending myself right now also. I'm not giving you advice for free, just because of your country only. It's for myself. I have the right to defend myself, to protect myself from pain, related pain for your country, from the war in your country. I have pain because the Russian people are dying. I have pain because the Ukrainian people are dying and suffering every day also. Even if they went to another country and other countries opened the door for them, some countries didn't. They had to return to your country, humiliated, exhausted, running short of whatever money savings they had while fleeing the war. Is it fun? No, huh? And thousands of children are being kidnapped to Russia, leaving their parents drying up with tears, huh? And leaving the children confused, suffering, lacking of love and the familiar surroundings of their own country, huh? Is all this fun? So if you just argue with the strongest president, the strongest country in the world, and if you win, is it good? Will you be proud of it? So please, think logically, be humble. I know you won't like me if I say all this, but I have to. It's just for my self-defense. How about that, huh? You don't have to think anything bigger than that. Just my self-defense, because I'm in pain every day, as long as the war is still there. Even Syria just recently have a change of governments, of leaders, and they still now make friends with all the countries in the world, including all parties in their governments, and pro-Western, pro-America, not pro-Putin. So just 3 years only, you still can make it. 12 years long, the war in Syria still was won. Russia can protect you? No. Did Europe protect Syria? No. Maybe they tried symbolically, not strong enough. So the president of Syria, even though it's not all his fault, he's done nothing wrong, had to flee. But to where? To Russia. Even though it seems that the country was peaceful before. At least people have peace enough to live and have everything enough. The government took good care of people, or as good as they can, comparatively speaking, from other countries. But you see, Russia was there all this time. Couldn't protect the president of that country, couldn't protect that country. And Europe, nearby, couldn't protect that country either. Couldn't protect the president, who was supposed to be their ally. So learn from all that, President Zelensky, with all due respect. Protect your country by logic, by wisdom, by experience, by lessons from other countries, war and peace. Not protect your pride. Even if you were right in your opinion, or you were right to have your pride, cast it all aside. Peace is the most important right now. You and President Trump both want peace. So work toward that, okay? As long as your family, your country, your government doesn't do anything opposed to it, go for it. Thank you very much, sir. May God bless you all the time. Protect you and your family and your country. Amen. Now I want to tell the Taiwanese people, recently you have had a lot of terrible disasters, even out of time, out of season. And big brother China is threatening to eat up your country alive.
When a magnitude 7.4 earthquake struck Taiwan's southern Hualien County a year ago,
the biggest storm to hit Taiwan in nearly 30 years.
So please listen here. I have taught you the life-saving method, liberating method, not just in this lifetime, but the next life as well. So you can go back to your true home, to your true country. Treasure it, practice it, appreciate it, thank God for it. And do not always call upon me to protect your country. I do the best I can already, believe me. Otherwise, your country would have gone under the sea. Not to talk about war with China. I'm telling you this. Not because I love to talk or anything, but because I love peace. I don't want the blood of your brotherly citizens spilled on your own fertile land or in Chinese fertile land. The land is for people to live, to cultivate food and necessities or medicine to help you live long, happy and healthy, not to spill blood on it. God will never forgive. Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, saints, masters never can bless your country if too much blood is spilled on it. Even animal people's blood will destroy many merits that your country has. Your country has a favorable veganism trend, which is even famous in the international media. You should be proud of it. They list your country as vegan-friendly, one of the most vegan-friendly, one of the few vegan-friendly countries. They list Taipei as favorable for veganism, for vegan restaurants, delicious food, and all kinds of things like that. It's very favorable for Taiwan. What they wrote, what they write, and what they will write on social media, for example. So be proud, keep it going, raise it up to the top. Maybe be the first and only country that is all vegan in the whole world. Imagine the honor you will have, huh? And for that, how can China or any bigger country or any bigger power even come and oppress you? If you're good, virtuous, moral, compassionate, all heavens will be there for you. So please continue the virtuous way, the benevolent way that I have shown you. I made an example for you, and many other things I do in private for your country that you have never known, that I could not even tell you. But believe me, I love Taiwan, and I appreciate all the kindness, generosity, and support that you gave me over the years. It's just sometimes I have to leave because your country makes blunders or denies me or blemishes my name, coupled with all the killing of the animal people every day. That once I told you well already, I lived in a remote area and the river next to my house every day was bloody red because of the killing on the upper side of the river. And that was only one river that I saw. Actually, it's not a river, sorry, it's a kind of a big stream, you know. The water was running very full and clear in some pockets. But the whole river was red every day. Whenever I come out, it was red because of killing non-stop. Imagine if you are those animal people mercilessly imprisoned in a small crate that you could not turn around even when you have babies. And then brutally your throat is cut while you're still kicking and gasping for breath. Imagine if it's you. And you know they have feelings. And you know they have love. You know they are innocent. They protect each other. They love their children just like you do. Imagine if somebody kills you or treats you like that. Would you like it? Whatever you don't like. Your religion, your ancient masters told you what you don't like, don't do it to others. It's very simple to live your life. Don't do to others what you don't want to be done to you. All religions tell you that. All the ancient masters of China told you that. Not to talk about other masters in other countries as well.
Don't do unto others what you don't want done unto you. Do not impose on others what you yourself do not desire.
There is a Tao for gaining the hearts of the people, together with them amass for them those things that you would desire, and do not impose upon them the things you would hate. He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened.
Treat those who are good with goodness, and also treat those who are not good with goodness. Thus goodness is attained. Be honest to those who are honest, and be also honest to those who are not honest. Thus, honesty is attained.
Etc. China was originally, traditionally, a religious country that respected monks and nuns and masters and the Zen tradition. But it's just talk now. You have to practice what you learn, practice what is good, and abort what is bad. Very simple. Do what is good, abort what is bad. Not abort your children. All of you, the citizens in the world, are you human or not? Even animal people, you call them beasts. You look down upon them, you kick them and you eat them, and you say, oh, they're just animals. They don't kill their children. And you, humans, know everything, and not even in war. If you are maybe in war and in a desperate situation, you can't feed your children, and maybe you have that excuse. But in peaceful countries, in powerful countries, even like America, who has all kinds of Asians to take care of unwanted babies, and many countries want to adopt your children because they are beautiful. But no, you have to kill your baby, your children, your own blood. What are you? Ask yourself. Don't blame the war. You make war with your own blood, your own children. How can this kind of energy not burst into war? And don't think that America is all that safe. If you continue to do this, war will be upon you. Maybe not a big war, but a small war. Yeah, don't even blame the terrorists. You push them to do it. Inside, nobody can prove it. But I know it. Whatever we do, the consequences will come back to us. So stop this baby war every day. 70 plus million children die every year. I think I read it maybe just in America alone. Imagine that, huh? Would you like it if your mother did that to you? Huh? Tear you into pieces in her own womb and flush you out like under a toilet. Excuse me, my unelegant language, but I don't know what else I can tell you so that you understand. I hope your mind will get it. Your soul will stop it. Your brain, your heart will be ashamed if you do such a murderous thing to an innocent little baby in your body. Now all of you have to stop murdering babies. Stop killing the innocent in war. Stop making war with humans and with animal people and with trees, with forests, with land. Do not destroy the land that you rely on to live. Do not do anything harmful to anything at all. Otherwise, we will have war again, and a bigger war. Back to Taiwan a little bit more. I have cast a peace ring, peace circle around your country, around Taiwan. I've done all the best possible for peace in your country, to protect your country from war. But if your people continue to kill innocent animal people who are living sentient beings, and most of you are Buddhists, then you know there is karma. The worst karma is killing. And you know the worst karma is killing beings, humans. But if you continue to do this, you also kill humans by giving sickness and trouble for other humans' bodies and beings by giving them animal people meat to eat or eating the meat yourself. All this collective killing karma will be upon you. Not just by disaster to warn you only, not only by pandemic, but big war. And you won't win. And do not rely on Americans either. They can't protect every country at one time. And they don't have like limitless weapons or money to continue to support you. They don't have the manpower to bring all there to kill or to be killed just to protect a small island like Taiwan. And you know China, they don't have the mentality of leniency, you know that. So please, be vegan. All the leaders of Taiwan, make people be more lenient, be more compassionate, be more benevolent. I don't care if you follow Catholicism or Buddhism, both real doctrines teach people to be compassionate. So be vegan, all of you, and show the shining example of compassion, mercy, benevolence, according to God's law, according to Buddha's teachings. Now I hope you all listen to my talk and change your way of life before it's too late. Before you see more tsunamis, before you see more earthquakes that destroy the whole nation, even, that really break the whole nation into the ocean. It will come. You gotta help me. You got to. You have to be good, be vegan, and keep peace with yourself, with your neighbors, with your friends, your lover, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your anything concerned with you, huh? So you have to make peace with the animal, people, with the trees, with rivers, mountains, forest, ocean, anything that is good for you. You have to make peace with it, keep peace with it, and protect it. Because they protect you. That is for self-protection, okay? All right, understand whatever you do good to others around you, that is good for you. So that's why Jesus said, forgive your enemies. Because if you hurt the enemy, then there will be more hatred, you see? And more karma for you. All right, so be vegan, keep peace, do good deeds. Thank you, La. May God bless all of us and bring us home safely. Amen. Thank you, God Almighty. We love you. Maybe many of us are ignorant and act according to the ego mind, but we do love you in our heart, in our soul, maybe secretly, maybe openly. So please forgive us, help us, enlighten us, and bring us home. Amen. Thank you, sir.
Most beloved Master, your message to our world on the paramount importance of